What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got a brand new deck profile. This is one I've been waiting on for a long time now. Ever since Meow Meow was revealed, I've been so pumped to do an update to Prank Kids. I love the way the deck plays now. I used to not love it nearly as much, but I'm so hyped for the way this deck likes to play now. One card combos, just a normal summon of Prank Kid. You can go full combo. There's tons of combo videos out there, but today I'm showing you my deck list, and I'm just pumped. Okay, keep in mind this is for an early iteration. I haven't done a ton of like online testing with the deck, so I'm trying out some cool cards in here to really see how they go, and you know, they're kind of in the testing phase still, but that's the most fun part of a deck, is like the early stages when you're still trying to figure out what works. You're playing cool techs and stuff, and yeah. So that is going to be it. Before we get into the deck profile, the actual list itself, I do want to take note of this mat. Shout out to my man Charles at Team COG, because he sent me this mat. I have my own discount code for this mat. If you guys go to the link in the description and go to, and you want to just, first off, you just want to buy the mat, right? It's a dope mat. It has Ningirsu, or not Ningirsu, I keep saying that, Girsu the Orcus Mech Knight and Ecomex, Crusadia Ecomex on the other side. Double-sided play mat, has the zones, very clean. And it's just dope. I really like the mat. So if you guys want to pick it up, definitely just check the link in the description. I have a 10% code. The code should be JUST10, JUST 10, and get you 10% off your purchase. If you want to do that, that's up to you. Help me out a little bit, help Charles out, and also if you haven't checked out Team COG yet before, definitely go do that. Because he makes great Yu-Gi-Oh content. So, without further ado, let's jump into this list. No more plugs. All right, starting off with the monsters. Of course, you're gonna max out on the Prank Kids monsters. They're all one card combo, so you want to see them. Of course, they're amazing. So, obviously, 3 Fansies, 3 Dropsies, 3 Lampsies, and 3 Roxies. What's actually kind of funny is they literally go in order of how good they are. Like Fansies is the best one because it allows you to play through Disruption by dumping cards. Dropsies is the second best one because it allows you to make Totally Awesome, which allows you to not lose to Nibiru. Lampsies is the next best one because it just burns your opponent, so it actually gives you like the ability to win in time, which Dropsies also does. Just this one does it a little bit worse, I guess. And then Roxy's is also there. She does let you cycle through your hand. She does let you get to your side deck cards, so she actually can still be good. I just think this is the exact order in terms of how good they are. So that is that. That'll get us through there. And then for the rest of the monsters, literally just hand traps. You don't play any other monsters. I thought about playing Parallel Exceed in the deck, but I just found space-wise, I wasn't really feeling Parallel Exceed as much. So for the hand traps, we're on 3 Gamma and the drivers. Just too good, man. Just too dang good. 2 Ash, 2 Ogre, and 2 Veiler for the rest of the monsters. Thought about Nibiru as well. The deck actually can play with Nibiru pretty fairly, so that was definitely something I thought about, but I landed on this monster hand trap lineup. I just like the versatility here. You got a bunch of things that cover a bunch of different bases, and they're all pretty good right now. And with Dragon Link and Infernoble still at the top of the meta, you got to have hand traps to slow them down. So it is what it is. But that's it for the monsters. I believe it's 22 monsters in the main deck, which takes us to the spells. Obviously, we'll start off with Prank Kid's Place. This is a field spell that searches any Prank Kid monster, so this card is also 1 card combo. It's really amazing to like allow you to chain block all your Prank Kid effects, so that's really insane as well, making you not lose to like Ash and stuff. I do play 1 copy of Fusion Recycling Plant. This is one of the few tech cards I like in the deck. This card just says discard a card to search a polymerization, and then at the end phase of every turn, if you performed a fusion summon, you can just add one of the monsters that was used as material back to your hand. So it just keeps recycling, getting you a monster back. So even though you discard a card to search a poly, every turn you're also getting a monster back. So it's a +1 the first turn you activate it, and then it's just going to be +2, +3, +4. You just keep stockpiling resources the more turns you leave this on board. It's really good. And then the terraforming. Obviously, I like that utility of... I like this because, like, place isn't that great because you don't really want to see multiple of it. Like, it's really good, but you don't want to see multiple of it. So if you saw, like, if you play place and terraforming, but not this, you'd have, like, 4 copies of a card, and if you ever do doubles, you're like, oh, that sucks. But at least if you draw doubles in terms of place plus a terraforming, you now just have extra utility. You have a Prank Kid monster and a poly just by having those, which is 2 pieces of, like, the untouchable pie, I guess, because 2 Prank Kids and a fusion spell allows you to play through like any 1 hand trap, which is like insane. So really like that. Moving on with the spells, we have 2 copies of Prank Kid's Pranks. I like this card a lot. It allows you to play through certain disruptions by getting a Prank Kid token onto the field, as well as during the end phase, you're going to get the potential to shuffle 3 Prank Kid's cards back into your deck to draw a card. So not only is it a free draw on the end of your turn to potentially draw more hand traps, but it also just resets your stuff. It's why you're able to play like 2 copies of a lot of different like extra deck monsters, because you have a card like this. It's searchable. If not, it's at 2, so you can still see it to like help shuffle your deck back and, you know, play the grind game. But it's a really good card. And then for the fusion spells, I am on 2 copies of Pandemonium, 2 copies of Polymerization, 1 copy of Thunder Dragon Fusion. This is the only card I didn't have for the profile, so that's my fault. But Thunder Dragon Fusion, really spicy card in this deck. You'll see in a minute. And then obviously Instant Fusion. So what do these do? Pandemonium is really cool, but the one downside of Pandemonium is it does lock you into Prank Kids. So if you have to use Pandemonium to play through a disruption, you're not going to be able to make a totally awesome play. You're not going to be able to make any of the other extra deck monsters you have that aren't Prank Kids, because they give you a little bit of extra utility. So that's why I only played 2 of it, and also it's super searchable. You literally get it off your combo every time. So I thought 3 of it was a little bit overkill, so I wanted to play some of the other polys instead. It's also a hard one to return. Poly's just great, searchable off of that field spell. So there's, with field spell and terraforming, you've got 4 copies of this card in your deck. So just again, helps you play through disruption. Thunder Dragon Fusion is really interesting in the deck, and I know you might be like, John, why are you only playing 1 copy of this card? Well, I'm playing a card in the extract that allows us to get to this a little bit easier, but a worst case scenario, as long as you can just get Lampseas, Roxy's, and not Roxy's, Lampseas, Dropseas, and Fansies in the grave, you're going to be able to just use this, because this shuffles monsters from your, is it hand? I think it's field, grave, or banish zone to fusion summon a thunder type monster. And Battle Butler is a thunder, so ironic enough, weirdly enough, it just works. So once you get them all in grave after linking off with them and getting your plays going, you can literally just go boom, drop this on the board, and then, you know, get yourself into a Battle Butler. So it's really cool, and we have a way to access this in the extra deck. And then Instant Fusion. This is just like the best card in your deck post turn 1. It literally just is. You just summon like Rocket Ride, and then you just use Rocket Ride to get 2 resources back. So this card post turn 1 just says like add 2 Prank Kids cards from your grave to your hand. It's really, really strong, like actually. So that's it for the fusion cards. You know, nothing too crazy. I know like maybe ratio wise this might be a little bit different, because I think some people are on 3 poly, some people are only on 1 poly because it's searchable off of Recycling Plant, some people are on 3 Pandemonium, most people either play all 3 Thunder Dragon Fusion, which I don't love, because you have to at least get far enough into your combo to put all 3 of the right Prank Kids in the grave just to even make this live. Whereas this can just like fuse from hand like immediately, but this needs that setup of being able to like get those cards like into the grave essentially. So I think Poly's better overall, but it does give you extra utility. Just play it at 1, and then this is pretty standard, this card. Everybody needs to play that. Kind of a bummer that it went to 1, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, it is a really powerful card. And the last spell I play is just 1, Called by the Grave. I like playing Called by the Grave in specific decks that like really hurt by not having Called by the Grave. Like this deck specifically, like it has the 1 card combo, but Ash on the very first Prank Kid you have, as long as you don't have the field spell, does just stop your entire combo if you don't have like the extenders, which is a shame. So the idea here is just this counters the Ash as well as the 4 copies of the field spell. So you've got like 5 cards that make it so you don't lose to Ash even with the 1 card combo. So that's pretty good there. Taking us to the traps, 3 impermanents. You guys know I love impermanents. I think next to Gamma, it's one of the best hand traps right now. I think Nibiru is there too, just because they're the potential hand traps that can like end a combo turn by themselves without needing a second hand trap. But I do like that this doesn't turn on 3 stacks, because a lot of players are opting to play 3 attacks right now. So there, and then the last card I play is 1 Prank Kid's Plan. Allows you to quick link summon during the main phase, and you can banish it from grave to buff up. Is it buff up or does it weaken your opponent? Your opponent's monster loses 100 attack for every Prank Kid monster. For each. Okay, so this card shuffles Prank Kid's cards from graveyard on attack declaration, and then your opponent's monster loses 100 attack for every card you shuffled back in. So not only does it like help reset your deck, but also it can catch your opponent off guard. If they're not even ready for this and this is just engraved, they're just like, oh shit, I totally forgot and I thought I could just beat over something. So that's actually kind of cool. But that is it for the main deck. That is 40 cards even. You guys know how I like to do deck like this where you want to see one card combos. I want to keep it consistent with those one card combos and the ability to see those, so not messing around too much there. And then we end up in the extra deck. So for the extra deck, this is definitely another area where I kind of like, I think feeling out ratios is going to take a little bit of time to see where exactly we're going to land on ratios. But for now, this is what I have. 2 copies of Prank Kids Meow Meow. This card's insane. It just allows this deck to actually like insulate and become like a legit one card like combo deck, which is really important. 2 copies of Dodo Doodle Doo, a card I potentially thought might be a 3 of, but I think 2 of is fine. We have so many cards that like reset our deck, shuffle everything back, so I'm not too worried there. I decided to play 2 Bow Wow. Some people only play 1, but I like 2. And then the 1 Rip Roaring Roaster for the links. There's really not too much else to say here. Rip Roaring Roaster is just so good at helping you against like back row decks. Like I feel like you have to play it because when you're in that matchup, this card just like wins you the matchup. You can double Heavy Storm on your opponent's turn. It's just so strong. Going first versus Altergeist is literally the buy because of this card. Oh my god! So they can't do anything. If they draw a hand with like 3 traps, they lost. They just lost. So there's that, and then we get into the fusions. We've got 2 copies of Rocket Ride. Amazing. This is your main like instant fusion target. 1 copy of Weather Washer. He comes up with his own utility. He allows you to protect your monsters from battle. So there's like a weird combo where on your opponent's turn you can make all your monsters indestructible by battle and card effect, and so it's just like really annoying for your opponent to deal with. And then the 2 Battle Butler. I think with the new build of this deck, you have to play 2 Battle Butler. You're trying to end on 1 every turn 1, and if somehow your opponent's able to bait out both of his wipes and still play through, you're going to need the second one at some point. So I think 2 is an absolute must-have, in my opinion. But I'm a little heavier on the Prank Kids cards than some people. I see some people playing 1 Battle Butler, even though I think you need 2. I see some people side Rip Roaring Roaster. I see people like not even play Weather Washer sometimes. Like it's weird, but I'm on a heavier lineup just because maybe I'm just not as good yet with the deck, so I'm more forgiving to myself of like if I misplay, I still have extras in the extra deck. All right, and then for the last 3 cards, we've got 1 copy of Predator Plant Verity Anaconda, 1 copy of Ningirsu, and 1 copy of Toad. Some of these are self-explanatory. Like this is pretty self-explanatory. Dropsies is actually a level 2 Aqua, so the idea is that like as part of your combo, you could make this as your 4th summon if you open the double Prank Kid and a fusion card. And then you can end on this as your 4th summon, which then allows you to play through Nibiru or any other hand trap your opponent might have. So that's really good. Ningirsu, pretty much the idea with Ningirsu is this could have been potentially Phoenix, potentially Unicorn. I like him though because he is just straight up an out to Dragoon. And that's literally it. This deck literally has no out to Dragoon, so you could look at it one way of like, okay, you just accept a loss if your opponent gets Dragoon on the field, or you like you accept the loss and just put a lot of side deck cards in your deck to allow you to like out Dragoon. But I like having at least 1 main, and yeah, I had another slot, so I was just kind of like, I want just an out for Dragoon in case it can come up. And then Verity Anaconda. This card's really cool with specifically Thunder Dragon Fusion. You could use it for other potential plays as well. Sending either the instant fusion or I don't think the instant fusion is that good, but the Thunder Dragon Fusion. So like assuming you've already gone through a play, or maybe it's after turn 1, you've gone back and forth with your opponent a couple turns later, you could just have all 3 of the monsters engraved to make a Butler, and you could just make this. All you need to do is put 2 effect monsters on the field, make this. This can dump the Thunder Dragon Fusion, which can then just get you Butler out of your deck, out of your extra deck, and then on the following turn, you'll be able to banish Thunder Dragon Fusion to just add a Fansies to hand, so you also are going to get the chance to add back another free normal summon for next turn. So it's kind of cool play. I'm still messing around with it to see how much I actually like Thunder Dragon Fusion. It seems a little bit more greedy than just playing regular Polymerization, because Polymerization seems a little more flexible, and when you can activate it, you don't have to like set up your graveyard prior and stuff. So I like this card. It's a cool card. I'm going to see how much it actually comes up. If it doesn't, I'll look at playing some other cards. Maybe we'll just swap to, you know, Phoenix, Unicorn, whatever. But I think for the time being, I want to try this out. I thought these were some cool tech cards for the build. But that's pretty much it here, guys. That's the profile, at least to start here. I'll definitely be updating things as we go, and if I think there's like a significant enough changes to the deck, I'll probably update a little later on. But I really think Prank Kids is a truly like competitive deck right now. I don't know if I'd say they're tier 1 right this second, but I do think they can compete with tier 1 decks 100%. So that's going to do it for me here, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet and you want to see more deck profiles from me. I'm doing a bunch of new Phantom Rage deck profiles because I wanted to build almost all the decks out of this new set, except for mutants. Forget you, mutants. I hate you. And also, like I said, check the link in the description to check out my promo code to get 10% off if you wanted to get your own copy of this mat. It's insanely nice, man. This mat looks so clean. So, shout out to Charles. That's going to do it for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And a peace.